See, this is giving me chills, man. This is how recruitment should be done. We would always say, look, these guys stay here and do combat operations full time. We go home after a 6-month rotation for a year and then rotate back in. These guys are home. And so these guys are getting a vast amount of experience. Some of these guys, especially the English-speaking guys, the guys we sent to Ranger School, to West Point, to different courses, including the Q course, these guys have profound knowledge and are going to be allies. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Reacts. Let's get the headphones on. Still running Japanese headphones because you guys don't send me anything. And I don't know if you guys are liking this channel or not. But I appreciate you guys tuning in because we have grown. We are at 700,000 subs. It took me only 10 years to get there. But 700,000 subs because of you. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, shame on you for all the factual information that I give you for free. I mean, you get YouTube ads. But hey, I want to say big shout out to everybody supporting the channel. CarniVault, the best freeze-dried meat on the planet. And also my own company, Wolf 21. We just dropped SOP, Standard Operating Procedure. You can check the links down below. And also I'll give you 25% off because you guys are so gracious with me. Because I'm going to go into what I like to call the good old days. A lot of it is a tribute to the men who served in the Iraqi counterterrorism force. The ICTF is Iraq's premier counterterrorism unit. They were pulled out of Iraq after they were assessed, went through a selection process, and isolated in Jordan, our ally. After they were all trained up, we infiltrated back into the country and did operations by, with, and through. These bilateral operations were mostly with special forces, commanders, and extremist force personnel. Each group had a reinforced company that essentially was tied to JSOC. They got their funding from JSOC and supported the National Mission Force, or the Special Missions Units. The first video I'm going to play for you is straight out of the GWAT playbook. This was C11, Charlie Company 1st Battalion, 1st Special Forces Group, the SIF Company out of Okinawa, Japan. So let's go ahead and roll it. I don't know if we could play this music. I think we'll get banned for life. We could add some other music. C11, Iraq Deployment, Operation Iraqi Freedom, 5. Okay, so let me just freeze it right there. This is very GWAT. This is like all the stigmas and stereotypes of the GWAT. So B2, his call sign's B2. I don't know if that's the Troop Sergeant Major. He has Dillon Aero. This poster is from Dillon Aero, or Dillon Precision, where they do the miniguns. They make the miniguns, but they also did range bags. They did reloading equipment, and they would do a calendar every year with the most attractive human beings on the planet. Now, looking at it in hindsight, it's probably like a whole bunch of 7s, but they look like 10s. It was a fantasy to us. Also, just so you know, the ICTF was organized just like the SIF companies, and the SIF companies were modeled, at least in theory. And I say in theory because we still got our non-commissioned officer evaluation reports from USAFIC, Special Forces Command, but we were broken down into teams, 2 cells per team, and troops, 3 ODAs per troop. And so it was a wonky way of aligning ourselves with the National Mission Force, because the idea and the concept here, since these units were disbanded now, the concept was if we had an organization that had the ability to counterterrorism, hostage rescue, special reconnaissance, all 7 or whatever, however many now, mission sets, then at least if something happened in the AO, like if I'm in Africa, because I deploy there all the time with B23, and something goes down, I could lock it down, contain, and potentially do a handover with the National Mission Force. That used to be classified. Now it's not so much. So all classic GWAT. We got the GOS, the GRGs. We got these old, these were horrible, by the way. These Garmins that we wore on our wrist had no graphics, no map imagery, and was just lines. But it gave us good data. So it could tell us like directionally which way to go. It also told us the grid location, and you can mark waypoints. But again, this is back in the day. I mean, guys, this is 13, 18 years ago. B1, this is the ICTF patch. Big respect to the ICTF. I rock that now. You know what's funny is my buddy Omar, he was in the ICTF. I think I put him through selection and then did some combat operations with his troop as a troop advisor. Did a lot of operations with these guys. A lot of these guys were killed, tragically. They also fought ISIS in Mosul, and some of them I raised money for. Like Issa who was a sniper that I did stay behind operations with in Iraq in 08. He was killed in taking Mosul back from ISIS. You guys helped me raise money for his family, which was crazy, trying to get money over to Iraq to give to their family. I did it through like Western Union. Also, a lot of these guys were killed because they were targeted by ISIS. They were assassinated. They were executed. They were tortured, and they gave their lives for their country. I mean, we stood side by side with them. And I know this for a fact because my 09 Iraq trip reflected this. When I was with Task Force, at the time I was attached to A Squadron, and I was with A3 in Iraq. A lot of the guys from the ICTF were being partitioned off with Task Force to go out in combat operations because they needed the Iraqi face. I don't know how much they did on target, but a lot of it was still bilateral or joint operations. Got the compass watch, I think. This is very C11-like, and then rocking the old Beretta in the Kydex on the Paraclete body armor. I think most of us had Paraclete in 07. I know this guy. I went to Sephardic actually with this guy. Look, this is an open source video on YouTube. This video was made by C11. Somebody uploaded it years ago. But these were kind of like what every unit, including the unit, Rangers, British SAS, SEALs, and SF guys were making every rotation. It's not publicly accessible, but it used to be on a shared drive that the task force could access, that you could just plug in a thumb drive and upload anything to it, including explicit material, which was part of that drive. For all you GWAT vets who know what I'm talking about, yeah, that was like a free-for-all. And then somebody shut it down. Somebody wasn't fun anymore. Okay, so we used Task Force 160th for all the helicopter assault infills. And I know this because I talked to the C11 guys when we ripped in or out. I can't remember. I think they did one stiff task force rotation, which was like this. One troop went over to Delta under Delta's command, and one troop worked with ICTF. So you had Area 4, and then you had MSS whatever, MSS Normal, and then MSS Fernandez when it moved from the green zone. But all the assets were provided by 160th, and they did a lot of Fry's infills for some reason. I mean, I think it was a hot thing to do that specific year. I won't be surprised if they show some of those. So this is typically a half loadout with 160th. We get on the bird, 3 assaulters per side, some of the support guys, some of the cell leaders on the inside, and then ICTF. So this looks like it was a task force mission. So again, this says ICTF, but this is probably from their rotation. And again, one troop was with Delta and the other troop was with the ICTF. GMVs. There we go. I knew they were going to show it. Fry's infills. That's probably training. That's not training. I'm not sure what music my media guys uploaded to this because I don't think we could use the music, but it's very ooh ah 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 ah. That is ooh ah 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 ah. No, that's not ooh. That's a little bit better. But that down with the sickness stuff was all the GWAT. And that let the bodies hit the yeah, that too. So I think they had a very successful rotation on this trip, and then I remember seeing their statistics and looking at their sit reps, and they were schwacking a lot of bad guys. That's ICTF. That's ICTF right here. So these uniforms are typically what ICTF wore. What's really cool is my favorite run of Eagles and Angels hats was with this uniform from these rotations. I had that uniform sitting in a box. If you're not familiar with Eagles and Angels, it's a former unit operator who started the company. Amazing tribute to those who have served and also those who have sacrificed. But you take uniforms, he turns them into hats with flag patches, and the flag itself has the uniform cut into it. Beautiful tribute, and I love rocking that the most, but this is a typical ICTF uniform. Pretty much. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of breaching. I think every single breach we did, most every external breach was explosive. At that time period, it was pretty popular to do explosive breaches on everything, gates, breach points, or initial breach points, and then there was even charges going off in the middle of the house. Typically, that's what you saw, and most of my breaching comes from this time period of 06, 07, and 08, which is why I have significant traumatic brain injury, because my brain is just rattled. So that was a depiction of Sadr City. I could tell by Mukhtar Sadr's old man. But a lot of this was filmed on contour cams, like contour GPS cams, because I don't even think we had GoPros back then. Yeah, some of this night vision stuff was filmed with a combat camera guy with a monocular PVS-14 attached to it. A lot of SSC, and not everything's cool and sexy. A lot of it's post-processing the evidence for both the judicial process that happens post, but also for flex targets or follow-on targets from the intel that we gathered. Like, oh, we just talked to this guy and his brother, who's also a terrorist, lives next door. Typically, the SIF rolled with explosive ordnance attachments from the Navy that were free fall, scuba, qualified, and went through all these courses, all these infiltration courses. Really squared away dudes. They loved to thermite every single vehicle that was on target, which if it was a bad guy's target, we wouldn't just leave it. If it was a GAF, a ground assault, then we would take it and potentially take it back to the base and use it to run to the commissary or to the chow hall. So we did a lot of that. If we did a daytime op and we were rolling in or out, infill or exfil, and we were taking fire, we would typically throw smoke. So they're probably taking something. "14 years ago, 103 subs. So they had a successful rotation, meaning they didn't lose anybody, I don't believe. That same time period, which was in 07, we lost Justin Munchke. Blue skies to Justin Munchke, and rest in peace. What a hero. This dude stepped on a pressure plate IED, but the week prior was advised that he had been awarded the Silver Star for a pretty sophisticated target where he took a machine gun to the enemy. I think he had 5 or 6 EKIA on that objective and was awarded the Silver Star. He knew about it. He was able to tell his family that he was being put in for the Silver Star, and it was approved. Yeah, so proud of that dude. Unfortunately, he lost his life, which happens. We had 12 Purple Hearts on the ICTF side for that rotation in particular. We also had one of our team leaders, Kent Solheim, who was shot on target 4 times, I believe, and lost his leg. Wound up becoming, I believe, a group commander and is still in the military. His son graduated West Point, and we used to call him Captain America. He was on the dive team during Operation Red Wing and was the ground force commander who went in and rescued and recovered Marcus Luttrell. He was a great guy. He is a great guy. So all this funny stuff they're doing, let me tell you, because I have a lot of experience with training, advising, and operating with the ICTF. One of the most deadly and capable counterterrorism forces in the world, and I've trained all over the world with many different foreign units. The Iraqi counterterrorism force are different. They're just built different. They look like me and you. These guys are like 5'10" and above, 180 pounds and above. They work out, they lift weights, they do CrossFit. They're all into the culture, and they can shoot, move, and communicate like the best of them. I've actually had guys that I brought onto the base and were giving a tour to, Americans who mistook the ICTF for American operators, very squared away. So yeah, sure, there's some rope stuff. There's some demo stuff because that's part of that culture. But operations-wise, I would put them against the best of them. It's so funny having my buddy Omar over here. He's a truck driver in Texas. And so are many ICTF that came over to the United States. God bless these guys. Look how jacked these dudes are. I mean, these dudes are legitimately jacked, and they have to go through a near-peer special forces selection that washes out most of everybody. The guys that are left are capable. Oh, let's just rewind that a little bit so we can look at their weapons, because this is about 3 years ago. Why is that mag? Oh, he's got a mag on top of a mag clipped in. But look, I mean, super capable. They got capable weapon systems and accessories and optics. These dudes run dual tube nods. And I will tell you, because I know right now, these guys are operating with special operations all over Iraq killing ISIS. It just happened the other night. They did I'm not sure if it was a unilateral JSOC hit. Potentially they did it with the ICTF. And for sure, these guys are active and busy taking out ISIS all over the place. So I don't know these. Oh no, this is ICTF. BCO. I was a troop advisor, a sergeant major troop advisor for BCO. So these guys also do advanced infiltration tactics. They do fries out of Mi-17s. They have, I don't think they have a free fall capability. They have a static line capability, and they have it all. I mean, they have mirror ops teams. They have all the abilities that you would see from a big special operations company, like a special forces company, you would see in this. So running EOTech. Some of them have old EOTechs. Some of them are running, I don't know what that is, the PEC-2 Alpha. That looks like I don't know what this weapon system is. I mean, it's AR-15, obviously, but I don't know what the make on that is. We gave them Colt 6920s. It was part of a counterterrorism program, I think a 1207 or 1208 program. And then they've been getting life cycle replaced, but then they've been policing up their own as well. Oh, you know what we used to say all the time when we do combat ops with these guys? We would rotate in, and a lot of different companies, depending on the culture, would try to reinvent the wheel with these guys. And what we would always say, especially B-23 and A-15, because we rotated in and out, in and out, in and out, nonstop in the playbook. What we used to tell our guys is, look, these guys stay here and do combat operations full time. Yeah, they go on leave for a period of time and they come back, but we go home after a 6-month rotation for a year and then rotate back in. These guys are home. And so these guys are getting a vast amount of experience. And if you're open-minded, some of these guys, especially the English-speaking guys, the guys we sent to Ranger School, to West Point, to different courses, including the Q course, these guys have profound knowledge and are going to be allies. What's disappointing is the same thing that happened with the ICTF, where we never left. We actually doubled down on counterterrorism and special operations and CIA operations in Iraq, we should have did in Afghanistan. But no. All right, last one. This was a shorty. So this isn't General Fadl, but General Fadl was the guy who started the entire organization, and I believe was Kurdish. And remember, the ICTF is Sunni, Shia, Kurds. They're all one organization, the Gold Division under Iraqi Special Operations Forces, and ICTF is an elite organization. You also used to have commandos. I don't know if it's the same way, but General Fadl, man, he was a great guy. I mean, I've had beer with that guy. He's just an awesome guy. Unfortunately, he passed away. I believe he had a heart attack or something like that and passed away. That's him. That was him on the back of the shirt. I need to get me one of those shirts. Hey, my ICTF fans, go ahead and hit me up so I can get me one of them shirts. Dude, if you've ever seen a documentary on Mosul, there's some great ones out there. The ICTF nearly single-handedly repelled ISIS. Now, they did have help from special operations, but man, they were in it, and we lost a lot of guys there. Again, one of my good friends, Isa, who was a sniper, was killed in that engagement, and many more. Also, dude, these guys show no fear. I do have a story where I drug an Iraqi across kind of a field. That was not an ICTF guy. That was a ERU guy, emergency response unit guy. Not as much training, not as qualified, and not as much experience. I've never seen an ICTF guy cower in fear. I've only seen him run aggressively towards the enemy, and I've seen them save American lives. And I think everybody in the SIF company or anybody who served with ICTF, I can't speak for ISOF, the commandos, because I never worked with them. I can't speak for a lot of these organizations in Iraq, but I've never heard bad things about how ICTF operates. Those are ICTF guys. Some of this is footage just from... I believe the Gold Division includes many action arms, including commandos. They took part in freeing Mosul. They also contributed a lot. So not taking anything away from these guys. They're rad. You guys saw that plane there. They do linear targets as well. Buses, trains, planes, automobiles, vehicle interdictions. See, this is giving me chills, man. This is how recruitment should be done. Showing the coolest part of the job. Now, they don't show the not very cool parts of the job, like hitting dry holes or sitting there waiting on the word. Let me mention this because I did do stay-behind operations with the Iraqi counterterrorism force snipers, and they are very well trained. Most of them used SR-25 variant gas guns and M24 bolt-action, long-action 308 rifles. These guys' fieldcraft was good. They were disciplined, and all the operations, probably a couple dozen that I did stay-behind-wise over that entire time period, man, you never see these dudes mess around. They took the job very seriously. Some of these guys used 338 Lapuas during that Mosul takeback. Rad. Awesome. Oh, that Republic of Korea one. That's up next. Just a teaser for you guys. I appreciate you guys. Show some love to the ICTF who are still in the fight from the comments down below and subscribe. Until next time. Peace.